Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Thanks for convening this hearing. I think this is a really important conversation to have, regardless of where you stand on this issue. And I think the fundamental question here that we're asking is, where has all this wealth gone that has been gathered in this economy from these massive increases in productivity? If it hasn't been going to workers, if the UAW and other unions have to fight tooth and nail just to be able to get living wage increases. I will tell you something we haven't talked about yet. A lot of that money is going to trust funds. A lot of that money is going into inherited wealth. And at some point, we should have a conversation about that a little bit more openly as a committee and as a Congress. Here's a stunning piece of data. For the first time last year, the majority of wealth for new billionaires, these were people who became billionaires in 2023, came not from their work, but through inheritance. It's the first time ever that that's happened. 1,000 billionaires are expected to pass down $5.2 trillion worth of wealth to their heirs in the next 20 years. And so you hope that if the money isn't going to the workers, it's at least being recycled back into the economy. It's just not true. A lot of that money is being hoarded and then passed down to kids who, in previous ages would not have been able to enjoy that level of benefit from their parents' success. Mr. Fain, I wanted to talk to you just a little bit about leisure time. You've talked about this already. I think you really importantly talk about the importance that your faith plays in the work that you do and in your life. There's a pretty wild thing happening in America today. In 2000, 70% of Americans belong to a religious institution, but today that number is 50%. This has been a pretty precipitous decline in the ability or willingness of Americans to go to church or to a religious institution on a regular basis. And I think that has lots of broad impacts in our society. But there are a lot of reasons for that. But one of them is that Americans just have less free time. When you have to work 70 hours to get the same standard of living for your family that 40 hours would have gotten you a few decades ago, you don't have time to go to Wednesday night Bible study. You might not have the ability to even attend church or services on a Sunday. You can talk about church if you want or if you don't want, but it is just true that some of the leisure time activities, some of the institutions that Americans found value and meaning in are less accessible when you have to work these long hours. I'd love to just hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things we talked about with the 32-hour work week when we put that in our contract talks was the fact that we wanted to create work-life balance because it's just, in this country, we are the most productive, sadly, I say, not proudly, sadly, we are the most productive nation in the world, which means our people are working more and more hours with less and less people, and something's got to give. And so, it's work-life balance. And as I say, when you're working multiple jobs to live paycheck to paycheck, or you're working 7 days a week, 12 hours a day, something else is sacrificed in that. And it's what ends up happening. You have to sacrifice, ability to go to church. If it's something else to do on a Sunday, maybe you get a Sunday off and you haven't slept all week and you spend the whole day sleeping. That is a reality a lot of workers face on some of the schedules they work. The thing to me that I think, I hear all this, we've heard my whole life about good for business is good for people, trickle-down economics and all those type things, but to me, we have to focus. I do believe Congress has an obligation here in spending priorities and regulations, and that may be an ugly word to some people that represent business.
Good afternoon, friends. It is official. President Biden's new budget plan includes several different benefits for the American people. Officials say the plan would drastically cut taxes for millions of Americans and reinstate tax breaks, which could help save billions of dollars. Some households may even qualify for monthly payments. So today I'll be discussing all of these details. So please make sure, friends, that you watch until the end of this video. Also, every Friday, I will be announcing several winners for the Walmart gift card giveaway. If you would like to enter these weekly giveaway, friends, do make sure that you click and like several of my videos and then comment below the keyword of each video that you watch. The more videos that you comment on, the greater your chances, friends, of winning these giveaways. President Biden's proposed 2025 budget presents a mix of benefits for various segments of society, aiming to revive programs that aided millions during the crisis, while also addressing financial struggles faced by families and workers. One notable inclusion is a revival of a program credited with lifting numerous children out of poverty during the crisis. Released on Tuesday, the budget seeks to fund these initiatives by increasing taxes on corporations and high-income earners. Notably, it proposes reversing certain tax cuts introduced by former President Donald Trump, especially those benefiting businesses and the wealthiest individuals. Amid ongoing concerns about the rising cost of living, the budget's proposals for new tax breaks for low and middle-income Americans are relevant. A recent study from Northwestern Mutual revealed that a significant portion of U.S. households feel financially insecure, underscoring the need for targeted relief measures. Biden's budget outlines plans to reduce deficits by $3 trillion over the next decade, with additional revenue generated through proposed tax increases amounting to nearly $5 trillion. This revenue would not only fund tax cuts for low to middle income families, but also contribute to deficit reduction. While presidential budgets serve as aspirational documents, reflecting the administration's policy priorities and messaging, the likelihood of the 2025 budget passing is slim due to Republican control of the House. Nonetheless, these proposals shed light on Biden's agenda, signaling his commitment to pressing for tax changes if re-elected this November. According to CNBC News, Biden's budget would revive the expanded child tax credit, which received a one-year overhaul during the crisis. The credit is not new. It has been around since the 1990s, but as our nation struggled to emerge from the crisis in 2021, lawmakers expanded the $2,000 credit and made it as much as $3,600. That expanded tax benefit, which proved to be immensely popular with American families, also helped lift millions of kids out of poverty. But once it expired in 2022, the poverty rate for children once again soared. Under the Biden budget, the expanded credit would also be restored, like in its crisis form. The expanded credit would again provide $3,000 per child for kids 6 years and older, and $3,600 for each child under the age of 6, instead of its current $2,000 limit. Parents who qualify for the credit would also again receive monthly checks from the Internal Revenue Service. Officials say that providing monthly checks represents a more practical solution to ensure that American families can receive relief when they need it most, instead of a one lump sum at the end of the year. Biden is proposing an expansion of the Earned Income Tax Credit. It is a tax credit designed to assist workers with incomes below approximately $64,000 a year. Currently, the credit primarily benefits low and middle income families who have children, while workers without children can qualify for the credit. The maximum amount that they can receive is limited to $600. But in contrast, families with 3 or more children may receive up to $7,400 in credits, as per the Internal Revenue Service regulations. Well, my magnificent and most marvelous friends, that is the end of my daily stimulus update video for today. My dear friends, thank you very much for being part of this community. I will be announcing several winners every Friday for the Walmart gift card giveaway. If you would like to enter these weekly giveaway friends, please do make sure that you click and like several of my videos and then comment below the keyword of each video that you watch. The more videos that you comment on, the greater your chances, dearest friends, of winning these giveaways.